Ella arrived just after sunrise. The air smelled of damp moss, pine needles, and wood smoke. Sunlight filtered through the high branches, casting a web of golden threads across the narrow trail that led to the treehouse. Her backpack was light, her boots muddy, and her heart open. There was no cell signal, no schedule, no one expecting her. Just birdsong, wind, and the creak of the rope bridge swaying gently above the forest floor. The treehouse sat perched between two tall oaks, about 20 feet above the ground. It wasn't big, just one room with wide windows, a hammock on the porch, and a fire pit down below. It had been built with care and weathered by time. Ivy had started to climb one of its legs, and the nearby branches cradled it like an old friend. Ella climbed the ladder slowly, each rung a step farther away from noise and closer to stillness. Inside, she dropped her pack, opened every window, and let the air in. The walls smelled like cedar and rain. A small bookshelf held a few worn novels, a field guide to birds, and a notebook filled with drawings and entries left behind by past visitors. She flipped through it, poems, sketches, notes to strangers, all scattered across the pages in different hands. She added a line of her own. Here to listen, to rest, to remember what matters. Then she stepped out onto the porch and sat in the hammock. The forest below was just beginning to wake. A squirrel darted along a branch. A raven called from the treetops. Somewhere, water moved, a stream maybe. The breeze carried the sound gently upward. Mid-morning, she made coffee on a small gas burner and sipped it slowly. No rush. No screen to check. She watched sunlight travel across the wooden floor in slow increments. She listened to leaves move, to insects chirp, to her own breathing. Then she walked. There was a trail that looped through the woods and circled a hidden lake. Ferns lined the path, brushing against her knees. She passed a deer that looked up but didn't run. She saw mushrooms like tiny umbrellas, bark peeled by squirrels, and pine cones scattered like forgotten toys. When she reached the lake, she sat on a rock and dipped her toes in the water. It was cold, startling, perfect. Dragonflies hovered. The reflection of the trees rippled when a fish leapt. The whole world felt held together by silence and time. She wrote, "Everything here happens without asking to be seen. The trees grow. The water moves. The birds sing. And it's enough." After lunch, a sandwich, a crisp apple, and handfuls of wild blueberries, she returned to the treehouse. She read on the floor with her legs outstretched, then napped briefly as clouds passed over the roof. In the afternoon, rain came. It started with a hush, then a tap, then a soft roar as drops hit the leaves and roof. She lay in the hammock, wrapped in a blanket, eyes wide open, watching the gray world blur outside the windows. She had never felt so small and so safe at once. Later, when the storm passed, she stepped out onto the rope bridge. The air smelled electric and clean. Mist hung low in the trees. Sunlight broke through in shafts. Everything dripped and gleamed. She cooked dinner on the fire pit, vegetables wrapped in foil, roasted over the flames. She ate cross-legged on a log, watching smoke spiral upward into the evening sky. Crickets had begun their song, and somewhere nearby, an owl called. As night fell, she lit the oil lantern inside the treehouse. Its soft glow made the walls feel closer, like the arms of someone kind. She wrapped herself in a blanket, wrote a few last thoughts, and placed the notebook back on the shelf. Before sleep, she stood on the porch one last time. The stars had come out. No streetlights. No headlights. Just stars. Thousands of them. She could see the edge of the Milky Way, soft and white like smoke. The trees framed the sky perfectly, like a painting that never asked to be made. She whispered into the dark, "Thank you." And the forest answered, not with words, but with the rustle of leaves, the cool of wind, the peace of knowing you are exactly where you need to be. Then she lay down, closed her eyes, and let the trees keep watch until morning.